Just trying to get it together, you know? I just got out of rehab. Thank you for your support. You guys like, for pot, you pussy? No, it's not a real rehab. It's just what I nicknamed my parents' house, you know? Because, right, that's the only time I'm sober, like 5 days in a row. They know that I smoke pot and they don't care. They're just boring, so it'd be a waste of drugs. That's not true. They're cool people. I try not to smoke around my parents. My dad's been fighting esophageal cancer for a couple years, so yeah, it really harshes my buzz, you know? And I'm like, Dad, you want to hit this? And he's like, no, thank you. You know, you're like, oh, suit yourself, loser, you know? Yeah. It sucks. He got sick so young, too. You know, he's only 68. Like, he's not even old enough to run for president yet. Like, he had his whole life ahead of him. I stuck another one in there, yeah. I noticed that whenever I tell people my dad has cancer, if it's a young person, they always go, oh, I'm so sorry. And if it's an old person, they always go, what were his symptoms? Which is fun, you know, because young people are like, I'm gonna live forever. And old people are like, I'm gonna die tomorrow. And people in their 40s are like, do you think this beam will hold? And, not for everybody. We having fun yet? Yeah. But it sucks having a sick parent, you know, because it's a real role reversal from when I was a kid, because, you know, now I have to take care of him, right? He used to have to sit me down when I was a kid, be like, don't get in the van, the guy doesn't have candy. And now, every time I talk to him, I'm like, don't give out your social security number over the phone. You didn't win a contest, okay? That's my money soon, I need it. I'm in Tacoma, it's not going well. It's going fine. My dad's Bob Rivers, if anyone knows the name. Yeah, okay, cool, couple people. The rest of you have some fucking homework to do. Don't Google it in the middle of the show. This guy's funnier than him. Yeah. He's actually, he recently got inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame, which is pretty cool sentence. Yeah, that won't be around much longer. Yeah. Half of you guys are clapping like, they have a Radio Hall of Fame? Like, yeah. I can't imagine trying to explain to my kids someday, like, your grandpa used to be famous. Wow, how many TikTok followers did he have? Like, actually, he's in the Radio Hall of Fame. Wow. What's a radio? Yeah. It's like TikTok, but longer videos. It was before my time. They had 5-second videos when you were a kid, even longer. What's cool about being raised by a comedian, though, is that we learn to deal with our trauma with humor, which is not that effective, but it's a lot of fun. Recently, we were getting the family together for Christmas, and we were flying Southwest Airlines, which doesn't do assigned seating. Now, my dad is in the Radio Hall of Fame. Because of the cancer, he walks like he's in the NFL Hall of Fame. You know? Or the Chess Hall of Fame, both very violent sports in my experience. And so, you know, he has a cane that he pretends he doesn't need. And then just for long walks, like the airport, we get him a wheelchair because it's faster. And we're wheeling him up to the gate, and they announce over the intercom, like, hey, old people and people with dumb babies, you're allowed to board first, you know? And so I turned to my dad, like, I think both of those apply to you. Like, let's get going. But he's not in the wheelchair next to me. He's in line with all the normal people. I go, what are you doing? And he goes, shh, don't tell them I'm disabled or they won't let me sit in the exit row. I'm like, you have to be able to lift 50 pounds. I mean, I know it's a Boeing and the door will probably just fly off on its own, but just to be safe, you know? Finally, he relents. We're walking down the jetway and he's bitching at me the whole time, you know? He's like, I don't even need a wheelchair. I'm totally fine. Stop babying me. And then he trips. Which is amazing comedic timing, right? He's in the middle of bitching about how he's not disabled, and then he just eats shit. We just gotta be like having a heart attack and asking the ambulance to hit the drive-thru. Like, this is fine, just give me a number 2, you know? I'm feeling like an asshole. I'm like, I should have been walking next to him. I should have been prepared. Oh my God. I'm helping him off the ground. I'm like, are you okay? He looks at me and he goes, you know, the best part about falling sideways is your head hits last. I'm like, all right, it's time for you to go into concussion protocol. I think that's the end of your night. Everyone around us is freaking, they're horrified. I'm like, he was like that before he fell. Don't blame the fall. My parents just moved to Las Vegas, Nevada from Vermont, which is a big culture shock. Yeah, it's like getting out of a time machine. And, because my dad was on the radio in Seattle for 25 years, and then he retired. He just wanted to get away from everything, so he moved to the middle of the woods in Vermont, and he picked up maple syrup as a hobby. I'm gonna watch the trees bleed, but then he got sick, and he realized, like, I should be close to hospitals and electricity, and so they chose Vegas. I didn't think of Vegas as, like, a hospital town. I mean, for sure, if I had a rash, I'd be like, there's a specialist I need to go see, you know, but... You've Googled the same doctor. All right, and... But I guess it's hard to find a good cancer doctor. I mean, it makes sense. You don't want the guy who's, like, too available. Yeah, just had a cancellation tomorrow. Come on in. Like, I'm gonna keep looking. A little dark on the cancer jokes? All right, well... Get ready for 20 more minutes. My dad told me of all the things in Vegas he's most excited about is chain restaurants. Because they didn't have any fast food within 2 hours of their house in Vermont. Literally, he calls me up once a week like, have you heard of this place, Applebee's? It's fucking incredible. I'm like, all right, well, welcome to the 90s, Dad. And but he told me he's got a new restaurant picked out he's saving for a special occasion. It's called Twin Peaks. Waiting for the regulars to expose them. It's a lot of people. Yeah, all right. If you're not familiar, which it sounds like you guys just come from there, it's, I think the official term is restaurant, right? Like it's like Hooters, but with better colors. Who thought orange was sexy? And, I was trying to figure out, like, why did he pick this restaurant? Here's what happened. We grew up in North Bend, Washington. And there's a TV show called Twin Peaks that filmed, and he thinks that they're related somehow. And I tried to explain, why do you think there'd be a North Bend, Washington themed restaurant in Las Vegas, Nevada? And he was like, well, the Eiffel Tower is here. That's not for Vegas either. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let him have a good anniversary. You know, like, what's the worst that happens? He accidentally spices up his marriage. And Vegas is cool, though, because there's always cool things going on, you know, comedy shows, concerts, strip clubs, lots of father-son bonding activities, you know. My dad took me to a Bruce Springsteen concert, which was amazing. Not normally my cup of tea musically, but my dad shared his edibles, so... Yeah, that made the music taste way better. And it's really funny because my dad was sober for 40 years before he got sick. And then, you know, so he feels like a little guilty about like a weed gummy once a week, you know? Like we found a bag of edibles in his car and he got super defensive. He's like, no, they're prescription. Shut up. Oh, it's for my nausea. We're like, okay, who's your doctor? Dr. Dre? Like, it's fine. Also, I'm not trying to judge you. I'm trying to bond with you. Like, we finally have hobbies in common. Let's talk about it, right? Do you have a brand you can recommend? Do you want to try anything else, you know? Hey, Dad, I got this bag of mushrooms. You're about to meet God. Don't you want to call him first, right? Just feel out the vibes. Reserve a room. Bruce Springsteen, that was an amazing concert. I don't know if you ever, where are those 70-year-olds running for president? Holy shit. That guy did 3 hours of just music, and it was like a religious, my favorite part, too, is that old people don't stand at concerts. I mean, they'll give it a song or two when the hits come on, but those old fucks can't keep it up all night anymore, you know? Like, oh, this song reminds me of my childhood. Oh, my knees remind me of my adulthood, you know? They're also enjoying the show, you know, make fun of them all you want, but they're not watching it through a little 3-inch screen on their phone, you know. They're holding up their iPad. And I did see one guy recording on a flip phone. I was like, I want the drugs that he's on. That looks like a lot of fun. After the show, the line for the Uber was like an hour-long wait. And so we tried to kill some time. We found a Baskin Robbins nearby. I ordered a gigantic bowl of diabetes. And my dad starts making fun of me. He's like, oh, someone's hungry. I'm like, shut up, it's a side effect of my nausea medication. You know? Two can play at this game, you know. The other fun thing we just did, I don't know if you've heard the Grateful Dead concert at the Sphere. That was fucking amazing. And I don't know where you get the awards for Son of the Year. I'd like to just turn in my application. I went to the Grateful Dead sober for my dad. That's right. Because he can't walk. But I wanted to make sure, because he was going to get stoned. And I wanted him, he has the eyedroppers. I call them the pop drops. You just put them under your tongue. And so he gets stoned in the Uber. But I should mention the only reason I went sober, it was an accident. They sell mushroom gummies in the gas stations in Las Vegas. And I know you're probably like, how the hell did they get away with that? They don't work. So, it's pretty, which is funny, right? Because it's like, boy, I'm used to getting my drugs from behind the gas station. Now they're selling them inside. I should have known. I wouldn't trust a hot dog from the gas station, but I'm like, drugs, let's try it, I should have fucking eaten the hot dogs. I would have hallucinated for sure, but